All them years we spent sharing each other clothes, standing on the block, brought us here.
Yeah, but we still gotta stay focused. Stakes too high for any mistakes.
Did Brian ever take you in and register you as a CI? I never let nothing happen to you.
Now, from the beginning of BMF, we know that Meech and Terry wanted to be kings of Detroit. They began their journey sharing clothes, food, and slinging on the block, working for Pat. And when they outgrew Pat, they moved on to others like Big L and K9. And ever slowly, they've been building their empire by uniting the 50 boys and the 12th Street boys. But the game is never as straightforward. There's always going to be hurdles and bumps on the road. And they face plenty from Detective Bryant and law enforcement to Lamar and Kato. Now, even though things are finally falling into place after they manage to secure the Colombian plug, which will completely change the way they do business and run their organization going forward, they're going to have to be more focused than ever before because the stakes are going to be too high for any mistakes. They'll also come across further hurdles, and it seems like Markisha is one of them, which is something I've been saying from the beginning. Markisha will bring trouble. BMF also seems like he's on a warpath, and Meech has actually got down to the bottom of Detective Bryant blackmailing B because he was never taken in and registered to be a CI. So as usual, we're going to break down the trailer for BMF Season 2, Episode 8. Now, the title for Episode 8 is Push It to the Limit, and the synopsis reads, the Flenory brothers buy a car wash to pack cars after being flushed with product from a new plug. Meech turns dealers into kingmakers, while Terry hires new drivers. Tensions rise as the Flenory family begins to fall apart as love affairs pull them apart. Now, when you begin to grow your business in any form, whether it be in the game or in the real world, eventually you're going to have to scale up, and that's the position Meech and Terry now find themselves in. They reached out to Cena, who agreed to work with them, and he provided more bricks than Meech and Terry have ever seen before. So with that being said, they're going to have to come up with a new way and a new infrastructure, not just to move and sell these bricks, but also to hide, transport, and clean their cash. And based on the trailer for Episode 8, they're going to be flush. But as they scale up their infrastructure, the stakes are going to be even higher. Because no doubt, more heads will turn in their direction, so they need to be clever in the way they conduct their business. Now, this is where the car wash comes in. They're going to be using the car wash to pack the cars with product and cash. And it's also a business which they can clean their cash. So as we mentioned car washes, although BMF is loosely based on true events, it is a similar business to which Kanan mentioned he set up in Power back in the day. Cash businesses are always a goldmine for people like Ghost, Kanan, Tommy, Meech and Terry. Now, Terry and Meech can bring their own sets of expertise to the car wash. We know Terry was in the car ride service, and Meech has the vision, the ability to talk and negotiate. So together, all they need to do is execute and stay focused. But that's the problem. Distractions and hurdles are always a part of the game, and it's these moments which will ultimately break a solid organization. Again, a similar scenario we saw play out in the Power universe was when Angela came into Ghost's life, and with the way Markisha seems to have Terry love-struck, this is going to throw a spanner in their business. Meech doesn't trust Markisha, and he has a good reason for that. She's much older, she's Boom's wife, but most importantly, Terry seems to be distracted when their full focus needs to be on the car wash and running their organization. Like Terry said to Lucille and Charles, him and Terry are businessmen, but some of the choices he seems to be making isn't beneficial for his business at all. Now, not only does Meech not trust Markisha, Terry seems like he's brought Markisha to a place where Wanda is, and she finds that disrespectful. And who wants to see the father of their child with another woman days after you've told them you're pregnant with their second child? Which, by the way, I do have my doubts over. Now, Wanda can cause Terry and Meech a lot of problems, especially because Detective Bryant and Jin are using Terry's relationship to manipulate Wanda into giving them information on their drug enterprise. So Terry showcasing his relationship with Markisha in front of Wanda may not be the best idea. So I think we're going to see Detective Bryant and Jin putting all sorts of pressure on Wanda after their attempts with BMF failed. So as we're on the topic of Detective Bryant and BMF now finds himself with nothing more to lose. Meech knows that he was working for Bryant as a CI, and now his mother is dead. This was one of the main factors which made BMF feel as if he had no choice, the love for his mother, and him just wanting to make sure she got the best possible care. But I think the way he's now going to see it is his mother's blood is on Detective Bryant's hands. And so it looks like he's on a warpath because he's got nothing more to lose. He's lost Kato, his unborn baby, and now his mother. So I think it's demon time for BMF. It seems like he may have even broken into Detective Bryant's home, smashing up a picture of Bryant. What else is at his home which Detective Bryant holds over BMF is the gun that he used to kill J-Mo and Kato in Season 1. And it will be interesting to see if he's able to find it, because Detective Bryant did threaten that he'll lock him up for the murder for J-Mo, Kato, and baby BMF. so he really does have nothing more to lose. On the other hand, Detective Brian does. His son Kevin, and he's also now romantically involved with Detective Jin, who seems to have sparked up an instant bond with Kevin. So let's just rewind it back to the beginning of season 2. Terry mentioned that he's lost everything chasing Meech and Terry, so no doubt there are going to be some dark days ahead for Detective Brian. Now, when it comes to B Mickey's relationship with Meech and Terry, we've got one brother who believes B had no choice and he's been loyal since day one, but the other doesn't seem to trust him one bit.
And you always been loyal to him, so you know that. And don't forget, he handled that kiddo shit with no problem.
And that's what makes him even more dangerous, Meech.
B Mickey was MIA at Soki's funeral because he was locked up in the trunk of a car, but we are going to see Meech and Terry come face to face for the first time since the big reveal, and it does seem like Meech has got down to the bottom of Detective Brian's dirty tactics. Detective Brian never once took B Mickey in to register him as a CI, and that tells Meech everything he needs to know, so he promises that he'll never let anything happen to B. But this is where it causes a divide between Terry and Meech. On one hand, we've got Meech who doesn't trust Markisha, but on the other hand, we've got Terry who doesn't trust B Mickey, and this really does epitomize both sides of the fence, which was the title for episode 7. So not only will Markisha, Detective Brian, and Wanda be a problem for them, so will B Mickey, because they were already divided on their opinions of B. So let's see what happens with B Mickey, because something has to eventually give, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to find the gun at Detective Brian's house, which really would make Brian powerless over B. Now, another element which could come back to bite Detective Brian is the bricks that he took from the evidence room, which he never got back. So if Meech is able to put the pieces of the puzzle together, if he is, they may be able to use that to their advantage. Now elsewhere, it seems like the Flenory house may be falling apart based on the synopsis, and we all know Charles has been a naughty boy in more ways than one. But I don't think it's Meech who's blown his secret, because he would never want to hurt Lucille or break his family apart. So what has Charles done now? But that's a breakdown of the trailer for BMF Season 2, Episode 8. One where Meech and Terry seem to be getting their business back on track, but also where they seem to be tackling different problems compared to the usual, and that comes in the form of Markisha and B Mickey. Elsewhere, they need to keep tabs on Lamar and Detective Brian, and something definitely has to give sooner or later when it comes to all three, especially Lamar. So drop all your thoughts down below on all things Season 2, Episode 8. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything BMF, Snowfall, and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.